Hey there, everyone. How are you doing today? We have the one, the only, the lumberjack landlord. Hey, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing awesome, Mike.
Hey, what
Doing
a
awesome. I'm excited. I'm excited to follow Dickerson. Like, what an
yeah,
honor.
what an honor. It's that's right. Well, hey,
What
one of
an
the things
honor.
I wanted to talk to you about because I know you and I have friends that are big time into Bitcoin and stocks and all of that stuff. And we
Yeah.
both know that Bitcoin got smacked over the weekend, something like 20%. So, as real estate
Yeah.
guys, how did
Yeah.
you handle those conversations with friends? Because I'm sure you
Uh,
made a couple of phone calls and ribbed a few people. So what was that like?
Yeah. Strategically made a couple phone calls this morning. I'm such a jerk, but it was so funny. I've been tortured by these guys.
Yeah,
And meanwhile, none of them are, like in since three.
yeah,
They're like in since like 25, 30, that
yeah.
sort of number, like, and stock guys and that sort of thing.
Right.
And so, yeah, I mean, after I wake up with my kids early in the morning, and then we got CNBC on, and I'm seeing that Bitcoin was absolutely annihilated over the weekend, and yeah, around 9 o'clock, I felt the need to reach out to a couple of buddies of mine. Hey, how was your weekend? Oh man, yeah, yeah, a little bit of a rough weekend. Really? Why was it a rough weekend? And just that line of questioning, and I was like, and I said, yeah, my weekend was brutal, brutal. And they're like, why is that? And I said, yeah, I mean, literally overnight, through no fault of my own, it was amazing. Overnight, all of my real estate went down 20%. And they're like, what? One guy knew right away, and he goes, you're such a jerk. And I go, yeah, I'm
Yes,
horrible.
I'm horrible.
I'm
Yeah, it's
worse.
amazing. I have never seen a one word tweet from one individual take a market down 15-20%. And I couldn't imagine who that would
Unreal.
be. And I mean, I don't even think Janet Yellen or Powell could take real estate down 20% with a single word tweet, right?
Yeah,
It's kind of
like
crazy.
I mean, unless it was like something to the effect of like confiscatory. We're taking your property whether you like it or not,
Yeah,
and we're giving you nothing for it.
it's
Okay, well in that case,
yeah, exactly. But yeah, this
yeah,
this is the whole idea, right? Both you and I made a strategic choice to kind of go single threaded, just go real estate, right?
yeah,
A lot of people that are in my circle kind of try to do well. First, in my circle, it was real estate, high growth, bet on the big boys. Lately, it's been that that gambling is not exciting enough. I'm going to go to crypto and gamble there. Where all along I was just being boring, just saving for down payments, buying a house, saving for down payments, buying a house.
yes,
I would
yes.
much rather be, I don't know
Yeah,
about you, but I'd rather be bored with my investments than stressed.
yes. Well, yeah, I mean, so it's the funny thing, right? Is like you and I always talk about, I'm gonna eventually get a Lambo, and the only way I'm gonna do it is by buying a house and having the rent cover my payment.
Yeah.
Like I am as unfun, and that's about as unsexy as buying a Lambo gets,
Yeah.
And so I think it's just that slow and steady wins the race. I think it's, the as software guys, we hear the all show no go.
Yeah.
We've seen that. We've lived that life. We've seen that stuff happen, and I'm just, slow and steady wins the race. Nothing sexy, nothing really particularly awesome or fun or wow, that's amazing. I mean, let's face it, if you gamble, and that's what it is, if you hit it right, it was
Mhm.
a gamble.
Yeah.
Yeah, you made some investments, but largely a lot of things are like that are a gamble. And if you gamble and you hit it right, because in 2 years the stock goes from, you had 5,000 of it in your portfolio, and now all of a sudden it's worth 1,500,000. Yeah, if that happened over 2 years, that wasn't really sound investment. That was luck.
Yeah. Well,
If it
here's the
does it over
problem.
20 years, 30
Yeah.
years, right? Potentially.
Here's the problem slash, I guess, opportunity. There's a lot
Yeah,
of people who got into crypto or a stock and they
sure.
hit it, right? They bet 17 and
Yeah.
17 hit.
Yep.
And
Yep.
too many of them keep the money on 17. They don't take some off the table.
Right.
So
Right.
you really think
Yeah.
17 is going to hit again? You're right. It
Yeah.
could. It's still 1 out of 36
Right.
or whatever the odds are. But
Yep.
really? That's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
We're just going to leave all
Yeah.
the chips in the middle of the table and hope it hits again. And heaven forbid it hits twice. Then these people get freaking arrogant as hell. And then they start
Yeah.
borrowing money. It's like, oh, put it back on 17. Right. It hit twice in a row. It's going to do it a third time. I'm going to be worth a gazillion dollars. Come on, people. Yeah. Be smarter than that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's the biggest thing, right? It's like, so for me, you know, real estate investing and then, you know, stock market investing, right? They were both competing for my mind's eye when I was in my early 20s.
Sure.
You know, and so it was like, you know, thankfully for me, I had the horrible adjustment of the tech boom.
Me too.
And then crash. And so did that change my vision moving forward? Yeah, it absolutely did, because I saw that I literally went from having a good amount of money to $0 in a day. It wasn't like a slow, you know, release. Yeah. It was boom, boom, out, done. Stock went 19, it went to 89 cents in a day, one day. And so that's what scared me about that is, you know, real estate is definitely lower, longer, more deliberate slog, but it's also an asset. It's not somebody saying what it's worth. It's an actual asset that is being backed by the government in many cases, depending on that loan. And the other thing too is that no matter how good at origami I got, I couldn't live in those stock certificates.
Yeah, it couldn't happen. Yeah. And again, what I love about real estate is you can become the localized expert. You're never, you know, even you or I, we know one market really well. If we switched places, we'd be ducks out of water, right? If I tried to buy in your area and you came to mine, it'd be crazy, right? It's just different.
I would know a decent amount about your area only from watching the video.
That's right.
That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but the problem with stocks, again, I had the same thing, right? I blew it up. I was that gambler. I was an investor. Yeah. I made a couple of wise moves. Then I became a speculator. And then I had a couple, then beginner's luck caught me. And then I was a gambler. And it went from 7 to 200 and all the way back to 40 in seemingly overnight. Same deal. And some people go, well, you turned 7 into 40. You should be thankful. I'm like, you're not paying attention. I had 200 and now I have 40. 200 is more. Exactly. I mean, what are you missing here? So that's why it's been real estate for me. It's because you can learn the market. You can become an expert. In stocks, you have market risk, sector risk, company risk. And I don't have time. I had a day job. I was trying to sell software around the world, and I didn't have I can't be Warren Buffett and read for 8 hours a day. Like, so I just, I missed all the run up in stocks. Fine. It's just different. I'd much rather have base hits than home runs.
Well, yeah. And the other thing I look at too is like, algorithmic trading and, chart trading and all these different approaches. And, I understand it, but I'm a viewer from the sidelines because I look at, even watching CNBC this morning, with the big announcement, with AT&T and Discovery, right?
Yep. Really
cool. Discovery's up. And I was like, wow, if I was an owner of Discovery stock, I'd be pretty thrilled. And then I looked 60 days back in their chart and realized that they were off of 80, $85 a share.
Yeah.
And so they still wasn't even half that, even with this type of a deal.
Yeah.
And that to me freaks me out. That just completely freaks me out. I recognize my personality type is that, I am far, far too much geared towards long-term, slow and steady wins the race. And now in my real estate journey, I'm 20 years in. Do you know how many of those stocks that I looked at in 2000 and 01? Do you know how many of those companies aren't even around anymore?
Yeah, most.
I mean, most of them are gone. Most of them are gone. And so, yeah, like I said, I love slow and steady winning the race. And I think the other thing too, is in managing the real estate and what we've done, that knowledge that you continue to pour into the real estate piece, like you said, I had a demanding job. I was on a plane all the time. If something was going sideways in my stock, I had no ability to trade it then.
Yeah.
I was stuck. Yeah. I could get off the plane and be like, oh man, that stock is now worth half what it was. That's kind of a problem. I would have, maybe I put a stop loss in at 10 points off. Maybe that happened. But in the moves that we see in the market today, it's so volatile.
Yeah.
And the things that scare me now are all the, stuff the fundamentals, right, of housing, supply and demand.
Yeah.
Supply and demand largely driven there. So yeah, I'll still continue to be a real estate guy. I've got very, very, very little in stock. I won't lie that and say I have none, but I have very, very little.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, if it disappeared tomorrow, it would not impact my ability to buy a Happy Meal.
There you go. Very
You
cool.
know.
Well, this has been a lot of fun. Keep ribbing your friends. It'll be interesting to see what happens next.
I'm waiting till I get blocked.
Send them to voicemail. Thanks, buddy.
Exactly.